Imagine returning home from a peaceful day at church only to find your estranged spouse waiting for you, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever change your life. This is exactly what happened to a woman from Lacey, Washington, in October of 2022. On that fateful day, she came home to find her husband, Cha Kyung-un, in her house, despite their ongoing separation process. As she entered, she sensed the tension in the air, a familiar precursor to their heated arguments. She saw An, his presence unexpected and unwelcome. Knowing the volatility of their relationship, she made a quick decision to send their children out to get ice cream, a simple task to shield them from the impending storm. She didn't want her children to bear witness to the conflict that was about to unfold. The moment the children left, the couple's argument ignited. Words were exchanged, accusations thrown, voices raised. The house, once filled with the laughter of children, now echoed with the harsh tones of their parents' dispute. The argument escalated, the tension reaching a boiling point, and then it took a horrifying turn. In the heat of the argument, An launched a brutal assault on his wife, marking the beginning of a horrifying ordeal. This was not just another marital spat. This was an attack, a terrifying encounter that would leave a lasting scar on her life and on the lives of her innocent children waiting unsuspectingly with their ice cream. A confrontation that started as a verbal disagreement between two estranged spouses had spiraled into a nightmare that would haunt them for years to come. In the face of imminent danger, a will to survive emerges stronger than ever. Our story takes a chilling turn as the woman, sensing the escalating threat, makes a desperate attempt to contact 911 via her Apple Watch. But before her plea for help can reach the outside world, An snatches the device and smashes it, severing her lifeline to the world outside. Imagine the terror that grips her as it binds her arms, legs, eyes, and mouth, a cruel echo of the love that once bound them together. In a horrifying act of betrayal, he loads her into a van, not to a hospital or a police station, but to a secluded spot deep in the woods. A place far removed from the prying eyes of the world, a place where he can carry out his heinous act undisturbed. She's then removed from the van and placed into a shallow grave. Each handful of sand he throws over her is a chilling reminder of her impending doom. She is buried alive, a fate too grim for most of us to even fathom. Abandoned by the man she once loved, she's left alone to face the unimaginable. As the last grains of sand fall onto her, she can hear the chilling silence of the woods, interrupted only by the faint rustling of leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl. She is alone, buried alive, her life hanging in the balance. The darkness of the grave, the weight of the earth pressing down on her, the struggle for every breath, a fight for survival in the truest sense. Buried alive, she lay helpless in a shallow grave, her life hanging in the balance. In the darkest of times, the human spirit shines brightest. Imagine, if you will, the chilling cold of an October night, the raw fear of being buried alive, the deafening silence of the woods. These were the conditions she found herself in, trapped in a shallow grave, her body bound, her spirit unbroken. Her will to survive, stronger than the sand weighing her down. For 12 grueling hours, she endured, fueled by the thought of her children, the love she had for them, the life they still had to live. Picture the terror that must have gripped her heart, the physical pain of her bindings, the muffled cries that fell on no one's ears. Yet, through it all, she never lost hope. She clung fiercely to the belief that she would survive, that she would see her children again, her strength and determination, a beacon in the face of such despair. Slowly, painstakingly, she began to free herself. Inch by inch, she clawed her way out of the grave, her hands raw and bleeding, her body weak, but her spirit unbowed. The sand that was meant to be her shroud became the testament of her resilience. She pushed past the pain, past the fear, past the despair. Every breath was a fight, every movement an act of defiance. And then, finally, she broke free. The cold air of freedom filled her lungs, the stars above her a reminder that she was alive, that she had survived. In the face of such horror, she had risen, not just from the grave, but from the ashes of her old life. She emerged stronger, braver, a testament to the power of the human spirit. She had stared death in the face and had chosen life, had chosen hope. Despite her horrific ordeal, she managed to escape, proving that hope and determination can overcome even the most dire circumstances. Even as the physical wounds heal, the emotional scars remain. The woman who survived this horrendous ordeal bravely stood in court to recount the harrowing attack, painting a vivid picture of the lasting impact it has had on her and her children. She spoke of a life forever altered, a life filled with emotional trauma and health issues that she must now live with for the rest of her life. She spoke of the fear that still lingers, a fear that she and her children must grapple with daily. In the courtroom, the prosecution urged the judge to impose a severe sentence, a plea echoed by the survivor herself. Their pleas were met with agreement from the defense, and a plea deal was reached. The man responsible, Cha Kyung-un, was sentenced to 13 years in prison with an additional 3 years of community custody. While the sentencing provides a form of closure, it was not without its complexities. An's defense attorney shed light on his client's struggle with mental illness, specifically post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. He painted a picture of a man who was homeless, isolated, and undertreated for his mental health issues at the time of the attack. He spoke of a man living with regret and remorse every day. Yet the courtroom was not swayed. The severity of the crime, the calculated violence, the absolute disregard for another human's life overshadowed these arguments. The judge agreed with the state and the victim, opting to sentence An to the higher end of the standard sentencing range for second-degree attempted murder. In the wake of such a traumatic event, the victim and her children continue to live in fear, a stark reminder of the enduring impact of domestic violence. Justice may not erase the past, but it offers a chance for closure and a path towards healing. A sentiment that rings true as we delve into An's reflection of his actions, his remorse and regret. Standing in a courtroom, An, the man who once allowed darkness to consume him, now stared at the faces of those he had hurt. His voice filled the room as he read his statement, a confession of guilt and regret. "I wish that I could go back and never enter that house that day and walk away," he said, a statement that echoed with the weight of his actions. An's words were met with the stern gaze of a Thurston County judge. The judge, understanding the gravity of the crime, agreed with the victim and the state. She decided to sentence An to the higher end of the standard sentencing range for second-degree attempted murder, a decision that would see him serve 165 months behind bars, followed by 36 months probation, a sentence that asserted the severity of his actions and the impact they had on his victim. In addition to this, An was served with a lifetime no-contact order in regard to the victim, a crucial step to ensure the safety and peace of mind of the woman who had survived his horrific attack. This order was a clear message, a line drawn in the sand, a boundary that An would never be allowed to cross again. As An faces the consequences of his actions, the victim embarks on a journey of healing, carrying with her the hope of a safer, more peaceful future. A future that, while marred by the scars of the past, holds the promise of new beginnings. A chapter that allows her to reclaim her life, her strength, and her courage. A chance for her to rise from the ashes of her ordeal, stronger and more resilient. Because in the face of adversity, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving and building a life that is defined not by the darkness of the past, but by the hope and promise of a brighter future.